Did you in any way, and do you in any way think that was something that was misstated or racist in any way? Because that's what they're implying.
It has zero to do with race, Sean. It has everything to do with whether we want Florida to continue to go in a good direction, building off the success, or do we want to turn to left-wing socialist policies.
So that is Republican Congressman Ron DeSantis out last night, out again this morning. He is continuing to defend his comments that have ignited a racially charged firestorm in the Florida governor's race. By the way, a race that is only in day 2. The President Trump-backed candidate is accused of trying to stoke racial tensions when he said the policies of his opponent, Tallahassee Mayor Andrew Gillum, the first black major party candidate for governor in Florida, would hurt the state. The exact quote was, "Monkey this up," as you know from our coverage on this show yesterday. Well, joining me now from Tallahassee is Mayor Andrew Gillum. Mayor Gillum, thank you very much for being on the program. It's good to have you on.
It's so good to be with you. Thanks for having me this morning.
Let me start with what your opponent here, Ron DeSantis, had to say just in the last couple of minutes on Laura Ingraham's radio show. I want to play you what he said, and then I want to ask you about it.
The silly PC stuff has got to stop. The manufactured outrage has got to stop. The notion that somehow his far-left socialism, which is disqualifying, was not really what I was trying to do. I was trying to send some double-secret coded message. It's absurd. I am not going to apologize because I didn't say anything about race. It had nothing to do with race. It had to do with his far-left socialist platform.
So a couple of things here, Mayor. Number one, do you believe DeSantis?
I think DeSantis has decided to pull a page from the Trump campaign playbook. And I think it's unfortunate. But I will tell you this, Hallie, I think it will be completely unsuccessful. We've got fooled once by this before. People are really sick and tired of this kind of race baiting, division, derisive element to our politics. And I think that's why, quite frankly, we're going to win this race on November 6th, because we've been talking about the issues that confront everyday Floridians, not, frankly, jumping in the swamp with the president.
Let me ask you then more directly here, because DeSantis says, I didn't say anything to do about race. It had nothing to do with race. Do you believe that what he said was racist? Do you believe that he is racist?
I don't want to jump to name calling at this stage of the race, and I'm hoping that they will try to avoid it as well. I don't, however, believe that the congressman was in any way frankly, trying to back away from what he was suggesting that he was doing, which was, in my opinion, playing a little bit of a race card there. I wish he wouldn't, however, because I think he can be better than that. I think the president has been a horrible example when it comes to these kinds of issues. And quite frankly, it's not what Florida voters want to hear right now. They want to hear what we're going to do to address affordable housing, clean up our environment, which right now we've got guacamole algae flowing out of the east and the west side of this state. Instead of talking about, quote unquote, monkeying things up, which I've never even heard that phrase, certainly not used in the context of his conversation, that he would stick to what's important. And that's what we're going to do to improve the state of Florida.
So when you did hear that phrase, Mayor, what did you think?
Well, I tell you, first of all, I've really tried to stay on a high as it relates to what was, for us, a pretty amazing victory the other night. I mean, really, nobody thought we could pull this thing off. We probably raised a total of $6 million compared to my 4 opponents who raised and spent over $90 million. No one saw it coming, but we did the hard work. We worked steady. We engaged voters. We talked to them about the issues. I went to red areas, blue areas, purple areas of the state. I was really trying to continue to ride that high of a conversation, and unfortunately, Mr. DeSantis went immediately to the gutter. I thought it was inappropriate, but I certainly think that he's shown us very well where he wants to take this race. He's, I think, staking his race on, quite frankly, following Trump's playbook, and that is going to the gutter. And I hope that as we complete these next 10 weeks, that he'll find a new North Star. I certainly plan on staying high here, and I invite him to join me on some higher ground.
There's a couple of other topics I want to get to, Mayor, but just to wrap up this part of the conversation quickly here, he says he's not going to apologize. Do you want him to apologize, and would you accept an apology?
Well, he doesn't need to apologize to me. He needs to apologize to Florida voters, because if he thinks that those kind of shenanigans are going to be persuasive enough in this midterm election to turn this their way, I think he's badly mistaken.
Thank you for checking out our YouTube channel. Why don't you subscribe? It's really easy. Just click on that button down there. And for more news from MSNBC, click on any of these videos here for the latest interviews and highlights. You can get more videos from MSNBC with our newsletters. Head over to msnbc.com/newsletters to sign up.